I have a little clip from the Health Code podcast, and a lot of truthers or freedom people are. This is a topic they're very interested in. Let's have a look.
They have to add aluminium to the water because it's an anti-fungicide, and obviously we don't want mouldy water, but so they don't tell people that because they just assume that it's okay to do that. But then there's also so many other problematic molecules in water now, like other people's SSRIs, people's hormones, all sorts of things that we'd rather not know about. Also, there's something called fluoride in the water, which people have been misinformed that we need it for our teeth, and there is a very small amount of biological fluoride that we need, but not to the excess that's in tap water, because fluoride is electronegative, so it's something that steals electrons, so it's basically stealing your energy, and alcohol is another example of something that steals your electrons, and most people know that they feel bad after they've had too much alcohol. They feel drained.
Well, I like a little alcohol, but the fluoride, I didn't know about the fluoride, but so many people are having that non-fluoride toothpaste. I mean, I always filter my water. How bad is fluoride for you?
Fluoride's horrific for you. It calcifies the pineal gland, which is known as your third eye, which is definitely connected to your spiritual connection to whatever is beyond this. So there's definitely that, and that's probably one of the main reasons they put fluoride in the water is to attack that, because they want that disconnect between humanity and whatever is, whatever the maker is, whatever's beyond this, whatever name you want to give that. And the other thing is it's a toxin. It's a neurotoxin as well, fluoride. It has so many detrimental effects on the body. And it's clear to see, as fluoride has been added to the drinking water, there's no scientific evidence whatsoever to show that it's improved the health of people's teeth. So that alone just debunks that whole concept. And people also don't talk about the fact that there's two different types of fluoride. There's calcium fluoride, which you can find naturally occurring, and there's sodium fluoride, which is a man-made product, which is what you find in tap water. So when people say, calcium fluoride is good, well, calcium fluoride is something that's naturally occurring. You might see it occasionally listed as an ingredient in mineral water that you might find. It's a naturally occurring product. But that's not what's in drinking water. It's sodium fluoride, which is a neurotoxin. So there's so many negative effects. Drinking water is just absolute poison. I made a documentary a few months ago on fertility. And it's interesting that you mentioned the birth control pill.
Yes, I'm interested in this. Yeah.
The birth control pill, obviously, is what that effectively does is it shuts down the body doing what it naturally wants to do. It shuts down the body's natural reproductive cycle. And then however many years go by, let's say as a girl, you start taking it at 16, and then at 25, you decide that you want to have a kid. So for 9 years, you have completely shut down every day your body's natural process. All of a sudden, then when you stop taking that, you expect it to just work as normal. It's not going to. Hence why so many people have so many issues as a result of being on the birth control pill. They come off it and it takes them forever to be able to conceive, or maybe they can't conceive at all. But the reason I mention the birth control pill is because that doesn't get filtered out in tap water. Hence why men have considerably higher levels of estrogen now than they would have had 30, 40 years ago. Hence why things like, and this is just my theory, but hence why things like, men with man boobs have become a thing. That wasn't a thing on the beaches in the 70s. You didn't see that. Hence why, again, this is just my take on it. You also are seeing a generation now of quite feminine men who lack masculinity. I think that, there's a number of factors of that. And we're seeing a lot of things, as a result of estrogen dominance in women as well, a number of issues like amenorrhea and others. So the birth control pill has a lot of things to answer for. It's a really bad idea. And they're not giving young girls anything like the full informed consent they should be getting. They're not giving them all the information that they should be getting before deciding whether they're going to go on that or not. And it's definitely a really bad concept, in my opinion. really bad,
They
and it
yeah,
affects
I think
every.
so. They have young girls who get pimples, and when you're 14, aren't you supposed to get a little bit of acne then? And they put them on the birth control
Mm.
pill, because I used to work in a pharmacy when I was 16 years old, and we would give the birth control pill. But I never took it. I only took it that one time when I was 21, and I just hated it, and I got off of it. I didn't. I For reasons like you say, this is telling my body to do something that it shouldn't be doing, and I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. I don't know why. That was just how I felt about it. And but they put that girls on that for years, the birth
Yeah,
control pill. And then you're absolutely right. You're 25 years old, you're a young woman, and you can't get pregnant. Now what's going to happen to you when you're 35? There's
yeah,
other ways that you can you can have, there's other ways to not get pregnant. You can figure it
yeah.
out, right? That's not the only way, right? And it doesn't mean that you're going to have a bad sex life. This is a fallacy. This is a farce, and this is damaging women's health. So yeah, iconic. You do have, it's called fertility, right? Is it out
It's called
already?
infertile.
Infertile. Is it available already, or is it in the
Yeah,
works
yeah.
still?
It came
Oh,
out at the start of June. It's gone down really well because I mean, it's quite a terrifying, you know, prospect, really, what's going on. I mean, I only started looking into it because I noticed in my friendship circle having, 3 or 4 different couples that had to go through IVF, and they were
yeah.
people that there were people that weren't overweight, they weren't particularly old, they weren't people you'd have looked at and had expected to have had issues. So I just started looking into, is this just an anomaly that I've, known a few
Mhm.
people, or is this an experience lots of people are having? And at the moment, it's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 couples have issues with fertility. So 20%,
That's
a fifth of
that's high. Yeah.
it is, and that's only going to rise. They reckon, as that is rising by 1% every single year.